Let's bring in former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, General Wesley Clark. As so is often, you are the one I want to speak to about this. Thank you for making the time tonight.
Thank you, Natasha.
Let's start with Secretary Blinken saying the U.S. will hold Assad and his backers accountable. How do you read the statement? Is this just what has to be said by the U.S. at this point? Or realistically, what does that look like? Because if Assad is behind Putin's protection in Russia, is there really any realistic chance we're going to get him?
Well, you might get assets. Maybe he's got holdings in British banks or something that you could confiscate. That's not clear. But I don't think Russia is ready to turn him over to the International Criminal Court or any other criminal court since President Putin himself has been indicted.
Yeah, what does this mean for terrorism in the region in your mind? Because we know U.S. Central Command conducted 75 strikes on ISIS targets in Syria. How concerned are you about the resurgence of ISIS or the strengthening of other terrorist groups? Do you think there is a good chance for democracy in being in place here?
Well, I think there's a good chance for terrorism to continue. That's a lot of firepower to put on. 75 strikes, that's a lot. Provided the targeting is good, provided they didn't have notice and get away, that should put a real dent into ISIS and any affiliated groups there in northeast Syria. But the region is rife with conflict. There's all kinds of splinter groups. There's all kinds of grudges held. People talk to each other, but that doesn't mean they like each other. So a lot depends. In fact, everything depends, really, I think, on Turkey's role in working with HTS and trying to stabilize Syria. Of course, Turkey also has its own issues because it has issues with the Kurds. And so they're our allies. So right now, we're apparently communicating through Turkey to the HTS. Not surprising, because I think President Erdogan had a lot to do with all of this. But now the hard part comes, the hard part, which is to put Syria together and stop the recriminations and stop the murder that's going on. You've got Christians in there, you've got Alawites, you've got Druze, as well as the Sunnis, who are really the leaders in something like HTS.
What does the role of the United States then have to be in this delicate moment in time? And a delicate moment for our country, because, Biden has his own ideas. He wants to support the countries that surround Syria. Trump definitely has a different plan entirely come January.
Well, I think right now we've got troops in the area. It makes sense to keep them there. That gives us intelligence. It gives us a little bit of leverage in there to deal with Turkey and others and Iraq. We want Iraq to be stable as all this goes here. We're protecting Jordan. And of course, we've got our relationships with Israel. Lebanon, of course, used to be under Ottoman rule 100 and some odd years ago. So they won't be too happy about this. They're happy to have maybe Assad gone. Hezbollah is sort of an orphan now, cut off from its easy access to Iran and probably from a lot of Iranian support. But Lebanon doesn't want to be under Turkey's domain right now. So there's going to be a lot of tensions in this area, and these tensions lead to war. And so if the United States can help dampen these tensions, prevent conflict, it's good for everybody.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.